Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome to my first Game of Thrones Season 8 preview video. Yes, Season 8 is finally here. Thank you to all you guys who stopped by the live stream. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Finally have some new material to work with. So of course I will do my usual Episode 1 review video, but first I want to put out an Episode 2 preview video. So let's jump right in and figure out what's going on in this little preview for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. First, really quickly, let me thank my newest Patreons. Thank you to Call Me Daddy. Thank you to Fractured Empiricist, Jonathan Balst, Ragin' Cajun, Sanglemore, and thank you as well to LC Manny for the upgrade and Robin Landry for the upgrade as well. I really appreciate the support. You guys on Patreon literally keep this channel going. So in the first little scene here, we have Jaime seemingly on trial here. Now we saw at the end of episode 1, Jaime get off his horse and Bran was essentially waiting for him. So we've always looked forward to this little reunion here. I think Bran will eventually forgive him and say it always had to happen type of thing, because Bran is really not Bran Stark anymore. So he's not going to be really mad at Jaime for what happened, because now in his mind this always had to happen for him to become the Three-Eyed Raven. But it looks like Dany is kind of holding court here at Winterfell as the queen, and Dany seems to be threatening him. Even though her father was evil, she knows this, but it still doesn't take away his crime of killing her father. So it seems like she wants to probably have him put to death, but we will see likely Bran and Brienne as well step up and defend him, and perhaps she may not get the entire story about why he actually killed the king to save his own family and King's Landing for that matter, which seems to be the theme running through this season already, are all these different families kind of coming together and all realizing that they're all doing stuff for their own families, which of course being enemies looks horrible from the other side. So for example, Jaime is a villain to Dany. We know as the audience that Jaime did what he had to do and actually saved his own family and King's Landing for that matter. So that's what they're dealing with this year with all this drama, and they have to come to a realization and look in the mirror and realize that all these last names don't mean a damn thing in the wars to come. And the next little scene probably is right after this. We see Dany walking off mad and Tyrion looking concerned, and she's probably had enough of this whole northern stubbornness thing against her, or the idea that they recommend to let Jaime live and help with the war because he does have a role to play. So likely Dany will be a little pissed off that Bran, for example, says he needs to help, he has a place in the war, and Brienne kind of steps up and defends him. Again, even though she knows her father's evil, it still doesn't take away what he actually did when he killed her father, becoming the Kingslayer. But this is all to continue this drama that was already built up in episode 1. The drama will get thicker before the Night King shows up, and of course they're going to make us doubt that they will ever get along, and we see the seeds of doubt already planted by Sam, for example, making us think that Dany is going to become the Mad Queen. But eventually this will all get resolved at some point. It's just going to be kind of rushed because they won't have time because of the Night King on the way. So she'll have to prove it by her actions, probably in episode 3, before Sansa and all the Northerners actually trust her, as well as whenever they find out that Jon is a Targaryen himself and realize that they put their trust in the King of the North at the time, being Jon Snow, when the entire time he was Aegon Targaryen. And then they'll all have to rethink this whole thing about Lannisters or Targaryens or whatever are all crazy and evil, and realize they're all just people trying to survive and protect their own families. And then finally we see Sansa and Dany have a little conversation here. I'm hoping this resolves a few things fairly quickly, but I doubt it will. Dany says you never should have trusted Cersei, and this is likely after Jaime has already told them that Cersei will not plan to send an army, and that's why he came up there in the first place, because he did pledge himself, and he is trying to be a better knight. So hopefully they get to know each other a little bit, and once they get to know each other's past a little bit, they'll have a bit more respect for each other and at least start to understand each other a little more. And as I've always said, I think Arya will a lot sooner. She'll understand and take to Dany a little quicker than Sansa, but they will all eventually come around. And the next quick shot here, I just want to point out really quickly, this is Jorah actually getting Heartsbane here. We know that he has it in the trailer, so Sam will give Jorah Heartsbane because Sam's not going to be able to use it, and Jorah deserves a Valyrian Steel Sword. And of course last season, Jorah turned down Longclaw as Jon tried to give it back to him, being the son of Jeor Mormont, and he turned it down and let Jon keep it. So he will get his Valyrian Steel Sword after all, and probably put it to good use because Sam can't use it anyway. And then next we see what we saw in the trailer here, where Danny kind of confronts John in the crypts. And this is likely going to be after a few days or some time has passed where he's been fairly quiet and probably standoffish to her. And she's going to probably approach him in the crypts while he's thinking about all this, trying to process who he is, as we saw in episode 1. And he'll likely reveal his parentage to her then, and maybe even ask about the Tarleys that she didn't tell him about. Although she didn't purposely hide that information, it still comes off as a little bit shady to John, since she really trusts Sam in that conversation they had. So this is going to strain their relationship, to say the least. And again, they will all have to reflect on what they want. Specifically Danny here, she will now have to reflect on what she's here for, what is her destiny, and does she really want the Iron Throne? And answer the question that Sam asked in episode 1, would she give up her crown to save the North? And then we have a little quick shot of Arya and archery practice, and this is simply a rhyme with Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming. As we've said before, this season will rhyme a lot with Season 1. And other than that, you have a few other little montages of them getting ready for war. We have Tormund, Beric, and Ed arriving apparently, and Jon asks how long do we have, which means they've already made it to Winterfell and learned of the Umber's fate, that they are now dead, and that the last hearth has fallen. And we continue with the montage of them getting ready for war, and we see Jon here in this little montage as he looks up in the sky. So this means the Night King has likely arrived. Now I do think this will be near the end of the episode, but it looks like it's still daylight here, and they're even firing the trebuchet in one of these shots as well. So the Night King likely shows up, but does some dramatic pause, I'm thinking, where they don't actually attack for a while, and at least wait till it's dark to attack. So which would explain how they show up and they see them, they get ready for war, but we don't see them actually battle, as we saw in the trailer, till nightfall. So I do think this is Jon looking up at the Night King on Viserion here to kind of follow up with what Bran told them in episode 1, which we never heard anything about again, when he told Danny that he has your dragon, he's one of them now. And we continue with the little montage of them getting ready, and Tyrion waits for the battle to begin on the battlements, very similar to Blackwater Bay. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to see all this at the very end of the episode. I think we'll see the Night King actually approach the army of the dead, and then start the attack at night. So I don't think we'll actually see them fight in episode 2, but I think they'll get straight into the action as soon as episode 3 opens, and it will last the entire episode. So anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and as usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon, and a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers. And if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and share, and be sure to subscribe to get everything, and click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. Also, don't forget, as well as the Sunday live streams after the show as usual, I'll also be going live on Twitch on Tuesdays at 9:00 p.m. for another live discussion Q&A of the previous episode. So of course you can find all that information in the description below. So anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.